Okay guys, I think we are live. Let me just have a peek here and see what's going on with all my stuff here. Give me 2 shakes and I will be with us here. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're doing well. I have no idea why this is doing this. Why is the thing all messed up? Right? Why are my pictures all messed up? When on the thumbnails, they're all messed up. Who knows? Okay, so it appears that I am live. I can hear myself. I have 2 things I have to do super quick. Like some days everything just works perfectly, and then other days everything just goes a little wonky. Who knows? I don't know. And paste. There we go. 2 shakes, almost done. All right. Hey guys, I had posted a video that we were going to be late today, and it's not as late as I thought. I thought it was going to be much worse than it was. I do have to go back to that same appointment. There was something that my mom had to go home for and then go back for. So I'm gonna just do the live stream kind of in between, and then we'll head back to the place where my mama needs to be after we get done with the stream here. So let me see if I can make the phone not fall off the holder. Let's see. And then I'm not like way in the bottom of the thing here. And I can sit up a little bit too. Okay, so good morning. It is 10:42 on Tuesday, July 21st. And I am having a pretty good day. I don't know about you, but I am having a good day. So here we are. We're doing our regular live stream. What are we doing here? My name is Faith, and I am a regular old human being like everybody else. I am not a doctor of anything. I don't hold any kind of psychology degrees. I am just doing the best I can do to be a decent human, and a human that has gone through lots and lots of stuff, and would love to be there for other people that are also going through lots and lots of stuff. So that's what the whole point of this channel, Caring Connections with Faith. I would love it if we can build a community of people that are wanting to support each other, so that no one has to go through life alone. That's the whole point here, that we are we show up however we are. We don't have to pretend here. We don't have to put on a good game face. We just show up, and that is good enough. So one thing I am going to do really quick is share this stream to Facebook. Let's do that real quick. So that's what we're doing here. And so because this whole YouTube channel is baby, we don't have a lot of subscribers at the moment, which is totally fine with me. I don't care how long this takes to build this channel. I believe that's something that I really want to be able to do. And so I'm going to keep plugging away at it until God says differently. And we're gonna see where it goes. So I have had another YouTube channel, The Broken Hearted Homesteader, because of my heart issues. I've had that channel for many years now, and it's not huge either, but I love doing it. I love sharing my life, and hopefully, something in my life is helpful. So I post on that channel about once a week-ish, and that is just van life, my life, basically. So yeah. Hey guys, I hear a train. That's cool. I can hear a train in the distance. Awesome. Okay, so So because we're building the channel, oh, and the ground maintenance is here too. So it's going to be a little bit loud as usual. I always pick a spot where it's like this, where there's noise and we have to adjust and adapt, and that's totally okay. I'm totally cool with that. We'll be fine. All right, live now, posted, done. All right. So today we're at a whole different location. This is a little spot that it's pretty close to my parents, and I love this spot. Normally they have a fountain going. It's normally right about there. It's right behind the tree, so you can't see it right now. It's not going right now, but the breeze, can you see how the breeze is rippling the water? It's so beautiful, and all the trees, so you can't really see the main road that's up there. So this is a cute little spot that I pop into. I have, yeah, it's peaceful. So it has a little water. It's good. There goes the train again. They must be all the way through. It's not too far from here, the train track. All right, so ideally, what would happen in this chat, in this live stream, is that people would show up and we would be able to have conversation and build connections with each other. So I prayerfully consider, wow, that's so loud, right? Wow. That's so cool. Oh, I can see the train. It's over there. It's right over here. I'm going to move you over and let you see. Look, look, look. There it goes. Can you see it? Through the trees? There it is. See? There goes the train. There he goes. That's awesome. We're going to enjoy the train. We're going to just sit here and enjoy the train for a minute. I don't know. Do you have trains where you are? I don't know. There they go. There they go. This is a long train too. Wow. That's so cool. Look at all the graffiti on the train. There's the end. There's the train. Okay. All right, so let's get back over here. Put my phone back over here, kind of on the holder. Hopefully it will stay where it belongs and not fall over. There we go. All right. Needs to go down a tiny bit if I can. All right. Okay. Let's try that. Okay, so ideally what would happen here is that I would come to the live stream with a topic of conversation, and then we would just talk about it, right? So right now, like I love this guy named Steve Lookner, and he has this YouTube channel called Agenda Free TV. And he also has a personal channel called Lookner. And so he goes live, and because of his Agenda Free TV channel that has thousands of viewers, he does this live stream where he hangs out and we just chat, and it's awesome, right? It's a community of people, and it's really, really awesome. So that's what I would love it if we could build something similar here, where we know that this space is always a safe place, no matter what, that you, as long as you are kind and respectful, and even on days when you're having a hard time being kind and respectful, that you can show up and you can say, I'm having a hard time with this today, and others are here to help you through that and with that. Okay, so today we are going to talk about, but do you like me? I think this is a topic that has come up in my own life within the last year quite a bit. So I don't want to throw anybody under the bus in my private life. So I'm going to try to keep this as generic as I can without being so generic that it's not very helpful. Okay? So I have found myself in situations, in relationships, lots of relationships, right? That mean something to me. Not just, like, does the guy at the grocery store like me when I get to the register? That, I'm talking about relationships that are very deep and close and personal. And sometimes we find ourselves in a rut where we are assured that the person that we're in a relationship with loves us. Okay? They love us with everything in them. And that question niggles at the back of your mind, but if they didn't have to love me like a parent or a child or a spouse, would they really like me? Would I be someone that they would want to hang out with, right? It was put to me, and I think I mentioned it on a different stream, that someone mentioned to me that relationships should be two people who just enjoy each other's company, and that should be the basis of a relationship. And I think that is fantastic. If you can find people that you just love being around, more power to you. And what I have found to be true is there are some people that I love to be around and I enjoy their company. And even those people that I love so much and I enjoy and I legitimately like them are still human beings, and they're still grumpy on days, and they're still disagreeable some days. What fun would it be to just have relationships that you always agree and everything's always fantastic? The one relationship that I have that comes the very closest to that is my sister. And she and I are almost 3 years apart. And we grew up basically like twins. Like, we could complete each other's sentences. And her personality, I'm the leader and she's the follower in our relationship. So growing up, I could say, hey, let's go make mud pies and eat them. And she would just do it, right? I was so mean to her growing up. I really was. I would make her eat mud pies. And like I said, I've mentioned before, I made her fall out the window, horrible stuff as her big sister. I don't think I was very enjoyable some days to be around. But she is the one relationship we hardly ever fight. We rarely even disagree. So that's the closest that I can say that I will probably ever come to having a relationship where we just enjoy each other's company. But I don't think that happens. I think it's so rare. I think what is more realistic is finding people that we enjoy a good chunk of the time, and we give grace and mercy in those moments where they're having a bad day, or they're not able to just be the amazing person that we know them to be on that day, in that moment, or they're going through something hard and they can't be the upbeat, bubbly whatever that they normally are. And in those moments, then I think it's time for us to step up and bring something to the relationship, right? So relationships, I think, are give and take. So we're not always, I don't think it's realistic to think we're always going to like people, right? Even the best of people and the most wonderful people are going to have a bad day. I mean, I have bad days. Yesterday, my dad was having a medical procedure in the hospital, and there were definite moments where my PTSD and my stress made it difficult for me to be my bubbly, agreeable self. And thankfully, I don't believe that I was really unkind to anyone, but I was less than my usual, for sure. So, we all had to just kind of dig deep and get through yesterday. It wasn't necessarily that we were sitting there enjoying each other's company. We were just getting through the moment because that's what had to be done. So I wrote down a few notes about different kinds of relationships and things that where we might experience that ache in our heart to know deep down, do you really like me? Would you still choose me? Those kind of things. Like, if you weren't my mom, would you still want to hang around with me? And one thing I will say, when that came up for me a couple of months ago, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I could ever ask my mom that. What if she honestly told me that she doesn't really like me? How would that feel to sit with that, right? And so this morning, we're in the car and my dad's in the back seat and we're driving home from her appointment. And so I said, today I'm talking on the live stream about, do you like me? And I said, so what do you think about that? And she said, honestly, there was lots of times when you were growing up that I didn't like you at all. But, she said that, like today, okay, so I'm a kind of a likable person in her world. So that's good to know, right? That was right? I try to be a likable person. I think I try to make it easy for people to like being around me and I don't try to be difficult. So, that took some strength and courage to ask her that question. Thankfully, I got a good response, but she was honest and said, growing up, I'm a very strong-willed person too. And growing up, I was not an easy child to parent by any means. And, mums and parents often say, I think, to their kids, oh man, I hope you grow up and you have a child just like you someday so that you'll know what it was like, right? And I have been blessed with 2 children, and I often joke that, if we had them in the reverse order, then, maybe I would have been done at 1. And thankfully, my son was super, super easy to parent. And he and I were always pretty good friends. And I had my daughter, and my daughter was born during an extremely traumatic time in my life where my marriage was failing, and that trauma of the situation affected both of us. I firmly believe that it has shaped her personality, and it has created some tension that we have to work sometimes to overcome. I think that my daughter has amazing, wonderful qualities and characteristics, and she has parts to her personality that some days I look at her and go like, can you really be my kid? And that's just who she is, and that's okay. I love her exactly the way she is, while sometimes not exactly liking her behavior and her choices. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay. And one thing in that whole, I love my daughter. Part of that is, how do I love her well, even when I feel that feeling of dislike for the actions that she's exhibiting? So that is where I think we can really dig in here. So I admit fully that there are times when I don't like those around me. And what do I do in that moment? Because I have a choice, right? When I'm around people that I feel that feeling of dislike. I dislike them because of this behavior that's happening right now. Then what do I do, right? Because we still always have a choice. So love is an action. We are not called anywhere to like people. We are called to love people, to be loving and kind. Not liking and kind, loving and kind. And love is an action. It's not a feeling. It has nothing to do with how I feel in the moment. So even if that warm, fuzzy feeling is not there, love is there, and love is kind, patient, long-suffering, gentle. All of those things, I can still act that even while feeling dislike, or if I'm not vibing with a current phase that someone's going through. So if someone's going through a moment of stress and they exhibit behavior that is unkind and maybe mean or snarky, I don't have to like it, but I believe with everything in me that I am still called and asked to be loving and kind, for if no other reason, then I want to be the kind of person that I want to be. And I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and know that I have been the best human being that I can be in that moment of dislike. Okay? So it also is kind of helpful if we can understand the situation. I don't know if I've shared this before, but I think I have, that I went to a relationship seminar when I was very, very single. It was a relationship meant for couples, and I didn't care. I went to the seminar because, again, I have always loved psychology, and I thought I had already had one failed marriage, and I thought, man, this will be helpful for me to get some tools from my toolbox, and when I get into another relationship, hopefully, I will be able to use these tools to make a successful relationship. And the one thing that the speaker said was that our reactions, our actions, always come from one of two places. So our actions come from either a place inside us of love or a place inside us of fear. Only one of those two actions is happening way down deep under all the layers of all the crap, right? There's only in the very root love or fear. And that has come back through many different places in my life. That teaching of look for the root underneath an action and see if it's coming from a place of love or fear. Because if it's coming from a place of love, normally it's pretty easy to love that back. If it's coming from a place of fear, that gives us an opportunity to be like, wow, there is an actual something going on here. They're not just trying to be a jerk, but something underneath is happening. And people that act like jerks a lot of the time actually have just built this crust over their fear. But really deep down, if we could do like a surgery, an emotional surgery, we would still see that there's hurt and pain and fear underneath that crust that they're portraying to us. Okay, so it's helpful to separate a phase or something they're going through and find that root of fear to give yourself, to make it easier to be loving and kind and understanding in that moment. Okay? So now let's talk about how that works with a partner. Someone that you have committed to. And, in the beginning, when we meet someone and we kind of fall in love, then it's easy to have rose-colored glasses and to think, wow, this person's amazing. And we don't really know them, right? We don't know their hurts and their habits, their hang-ups. We don't know them until we start seeing the day-to-day, right? And then that day-to-day, as we get to know someone and time passes, then maybe we find things that bug us or things that we dislike about them, right? So I can tell you that I've had a relationship in the past where I looked at the person across from me who I love desperately, right? And I have asked them with everything in me, begging them, like, look at me, Faith, here I am. Do you like me? Yes, I know you love me. I know that, okay? But do you like me? If you knew the Faith that I am today, would you still choose me the way you did all those months ago, right? Do you like me? Especially if, let's just say, your partner is also one with strong opinions and they have their own ideas, which everyone does, and there's a way to be I'm trying to think of a non-specific example. Okay, let's say, okay, perfect example. This is a perfect example. All right, my previous spouse loved horror movies, loved all things horror, Halloween, the whole bit of it, right? Okay, so I knew that about them, and horror movies and all things that are something that I dislike immensely, right? So that was a part of his life that I was not willing to share. I had no interest in sharing that part of his life. And when we had those conversations initially, when we were getting to know each other, that's not something that I hid, but the way that I said it to him said that I still value you as a human being. And, you know, I don't really understand and see the value in horror movies because they give me nightmares. And why would I want to do that to myself, right? But I tried not to be critical, right? It wasn't my job to fix him or change his mind about how he felt about horror, all things horror. So when criticism happens, and maybe the partner doesn't really mean to be critical of you directly, they're just like, oh my gosh, I hate horror. You know, like if it comes across like that, there's often times where that message comes across and slaps us across the face, and all of a sudden we start to feel that emotion behind their words, right? And instead of it just being, oh yeah, they don't like horror movies, they're like, oh wow, they think horror movies are really stupid and ridiculous and awful, and then that transfers onto us. So there must be something in them that then slaps that label on us that, oh man, they must think that I am horrible and gross and all of those things, right? So instead of just it being their opinion, the way it's presented to us, it becomes a rejection of who we are. That's how it feels on the other side, right? So I think it's really important to share our ideas and share our opinions with each other. Absolutely. But I think it's also really, really important to present them in a way that says, well, you know what? Horror is not really my thing, and here's my reason. You know, I don't want to watch something that's full of blood and guts and then I can't sleep at night, right? I don't want to put that stuff in my brain, because I want to put stuff in there like we're at right now, like this, you know, nature, beauty, things that are good. And that's what I want my brain to have in it, so that I have good dreams and I have a restful night's sleep and all of those things, right? It's just, for me, it's just not enjoyable to put that stuff in there. So, but it's how I say it, right? So if you're with someone who has lots of opinions about things and you start getting to know them, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, I don't like that, and I don't like that, and I don't like that. I don't like that person that you hang out with. I don't like that you're friends with them. Then all of a sudden you start to like internalize, and you think that maybe they're more about fixing me and changing me than just accepting me, right? So then you start asking the question, you know, am I still worth something in your eyes? Like, do you see me as a person that you want to be around and that you value? It says here, one of the things when I was doing my research, it says a highly critical partner often can't see past their own need for control or critique. They need their opinion to be out there, and they often miss the fact that they're starving their relationship of warmth. So if you're constantly trying to audition, they say here, you're trying to audition for that role as the acceptable partner, and you can't just be who you are. You know, one example is that my a previous partner has a dislike of sparkles, right? So all things sparkly. And in our world, there's a lot of things that are sparkly or have sparkles on them. And I happen to be a person who loves sparkles, right? I love nothing more than if I'm going to give a gift to have sparkles on the bag, or to have tissue paper that has sparkles on it. Or, you know, I have this cream that my daughter gave me that has like shimmer and sparkles to it. And that drove my partner crazy. And it got to like almost be a thing where it represented who I was. Like, you don't like my sparkle, rather than I like sparkles. It almost came to the point where I was like, I am sparkle. I am sparkles. And that feeling that you present to me of repulsion for sparkles is now somehow getting transferred onto me as an individual. And then where do we go with that, right? Like, then you start to feel that, oh man, I'm not I'm not good enough. I'm not okay. I'm not acceptable to you as a person. And yes, you love me because, man, you have said you're going to be here day in and day out. But is it just a drudgery now to be with me? You're just here because you made a commitment to me, rather than you're enjoying me. And that hurts, right? That's such a hard spot to be in. I think either partner, it's very hard to be in. So yeah, our words make a big difference in those moments. And we can absolutely dislike part of a person or something that they enjoy, and still be loving and kind, right? When we're talking about it, and still make them feel that they're an amazing person, right? Like my ex-husband has great qualities, right? I just don't like the horror part. It's just not for me. It's not my thing, you know? Would I ever say, oh, you can never watch horror movies? Absolutely not. I mean, you know, okay. My kids do stuff that it's not my thing. I don't like it for me. But there are times when I go over to their house and I do those things. You know why? Because I love them with everything in me. And there's no way that I want them to feel that I don't love them at any moment. Sometimes I do have to say, you know what? I don't really want to participate in that activity, right? I don't really want to watch that comedy that's getting a little raunchy. And then I can just remove myself, right? I can still be loving and kind in those moments where I dislike something. I think it's how we present it to people around us. So, I think the thread that ties all of these things together is the desire that each of us have, that we can take off that armor and the mask that we wear for the outside world. We can take that off and we can just be. And that liking, in all of these scenarios, liking represents peace for the person on the other side. We can give them that gift, right? It means that we don't have to perform when we're in these relationships. We don't have to be perfect, and we don't have to have that sense of hypervigilance, like watching my words, watching la la la. We can just be as we are, right? So yeah, so that's a lot of talking that I did today. What do you guys think? I would love to know what you guys think about all this. Everyone has lots of opinions, and that's cool. That's how we learn, that's how we grow, is by sharing with each other. So if you wanted to pop into the chat and leave a comment about your opinion, that would be awesome. If you wanted to watch the replay later and leave a comment, that would be awesome. And if you don't want to do this in a public forum and you just want to shoot me an email at caringconnectionswithfaith@gmail.com, that would be cool too. I love meeting people and learning from people and sharing ideas with people. So however is comfortable for you, if you would give me the gift of your opinion, that would be fantastic. I would love that so much, that you would share yourself with me, because that's what we're doing here. We're trying to share ourselves with each other in a loving and supportive manner. So yeah, so let me know what you think. However you want to do that, that would be really awesome. If it's just me talking into the wind every day, then again, I have to just put myself out there and trust that this is going to be helpful for someone at some point in their life. And so that's what I'm doing, because you know, I am here on this planet for a reason, and if I can be loving and kind and helpful to people around me, even if it's just one person, then that's enough for me. And if it can be many people, all the better, right? So that's what we're doing today. We're thinking about the question of, you know, am I likable? Do people like me? And maybe we want to consider, you know, how can I be more likable? Not that I'm changing myself to be likable and I'm not going to be true to who I am, but are there parts of my personality that, you know, are a little rough around the edges and could use a little sandpaper and a little smoothing out to be a better person? Not because someone's asking you to change, just for the heck of it, to be a better person. So you're someone that you look in the mirror and go, wow, I love that person, right? I like that person. Do you like yourself? So yeah, man, that's a lot. So that's what I wanted to share today. And I am going to be signing off here in just a second. and you can let me know where you're coming from today. That would be awesome. I am exhausted. Normally after I do these live streams, I am wiped, and it's been really stressful yesterday, so definitely wiped. So I'm gonna go and relax, have some water, and just hang out until my mom is ready for me again, and then I'm gonna head back and help my daughter with some stuff this afternoon. So I hope that you have enjoyed our time together, and that you have found something that's meaningful there. And I'm gonna sign off for now, but I'm sending you guys all lots and lots of love. Take good care of yourself and others around you, and I will see you again next time. Reminder that we're gonna do the stream on Friday instead of Thursday, just to keep seeing. We're gonna try different things and see what happens. So I'm signing off for today, and I will talk to you again on Friday morning at 10:30. See you then. Bye for now.